Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about one of the biggest underdog stories in sports history. A kid who was rejected by every scout, doubted by every coach, and overlooked by every team. But he came back and did something no one else ever has. In this video, we'll look at how an average-looking college kid, who was fighting for a starting spot on his own university team, got picked 198 players deep in the NFL draft, and then became the most decorated quarterback in history. This is a story about patience, hard work, and unshakable belief. Let's get into it. Tom Brady was born on August 3, 1977, in San Mateo, California. As a kid, he didn't look like a chosen one at all. He was the youngest in his family, with 3 older sisters, and sports were always part of his life, but not just football. In high school, Tom was actually a talented baseball catcher. So talented that in 1995, the Montreal Expos drafted him in the 18th round of the MLB draft. Think about that. This kid was good enough at baseball to get a professional offer. But Tom's heart was in football, and he took his scholarship to the University of Michigan, where his real journey began. Tom Brady's start at Michigan was anything but smooth. He was 7th on the depth chart when he first joined the team. For years, he sat on the practice squad, waiting for his shot. Then came the moment that's still talked about in college football history. Tom had to compete for the starting job against a highly recruited young quarterback named Drew Henson. The coaches kept rotating the two of them in and out. Sometimes Brady would play, sometimes Henson would. That kind of situation could break any player's confidence. But Tom never gave up. In his senior year, he led Michigan to a dramatic comeback win over Alabama in the Orange Bowl, winning the game in overtime. That performance proved his determination. But even after that, NFL scouts still weren't convinced. The 2000 NFL Combine is a chapter of Tom Brady's career he'd probably like to forget. His 40-yard dash time was 5.28 seconds. So slow that only a handful of offensive linemen were slower than him. His vertical jump was just 24.5 inches. The scouting report written about him is still famous today. Poor build. Skinny, lacks great physical stature and strength. Lacks mobility and ability to avoid the rush. Lacks a really strong arm, can't drive the ball downfield. Does not throw a really tight spiral, gets knocked down easily. In other words, scouts rejected him in every single category. That shirtless combine photo, Tom standing there in his gym shorts with his thin frame, became internet legend. Tom later admitted it was the most embarrassing moment of his career. So embarrassing that he once joked he wished the photo could be permanently erased from the internet. April 2000, NFL Draft Day. Tom Brady sat at home, watching TV, round after round passing without his name being called. Round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, nothing. Finally, in the 6th round, with the 199th overall pick, the New England Patriots called his name. Think about that. 198 players were picked before him. 6 quarterbacks were drafted ahead of him that year, and most people today couldn't even name them. Tom Brady was the very last quarterback selected in the entire draft. That moment became motivation he carried with him for the rest of his career. A chip on his shoulder that never went away. When Tom Brady arrived at the Patriots, he was the 4th-string quarterback on the depth chart. The starter was Drew Bledsoe, who at the time was the highest-paid player in the NFL. In his rookie season, Tom got just 1 single pass attempt the entire year. But Tom didn't waste his time. He gave everything in practice every single day, learned from the veterans around him, and waited for his shot, without knowing if that shot would ever actually come. 2001 season. Week 2, Drew Bledsoe took a massive hit in a game that caused internal bleeding in his chest. An injury serious enough to keep him out for weeks. Head coach Bill Belichick had no choice but to start his unproven 199th pick backup quarterback. And that's where history begins. Tom Brady took over and led the Patriots all the way to the Super Bowl that season in his very first full season as a starter. They beat the heavily favored St. Louis Rams in Super Bowl 36. That wasn't just a win, it was a statement to the entire world that this skinny kid was something. Special. What happened next had never been seen before in sports history. Tom Brady went on to win 6 Super Bowls with the New England Patriots. Then, in 2020, at 43 years old, when everyone assumed his career was winding down, he joined the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and won a Super Bowl in his very first season there. That was his 7th and final championship. Over his entire career, Tom Brady broke nearly every major passing record in NFL history. Most career passing yards, most touchdown passes, most career wins by a starting quarterback. He won the Super Bowl MVP award 5 times. No other player has won it that many times. He also won the NFL MVP award 3 times. And the most impressive part, he did all of this well into his 40s, at an age when most quarterbacks have already retired. Tom Brady was still one of the best players in the league. This story isn't just about talent. It's about unshakable self-belief when the whole world is against you. Every single scout rejected him. Every coach doubted him. Even his own college coach kept splitting playing time with another quarterback. And then the NFL Combine publicly embarrassed him on top of all that. But Tom Brady never accepted the idea that he wasn't good enough. He turned every rejection into fuel. He kept transforming his body, kept studying the game, and kept waiting for his chance. Whether or not that chance would ever actually come, this story still inspires athletes and everyday people alike. Because it reminds us that success rarely comes from raw talent alone. It comes from consistency, patience, and believing in yourself even when no one else does. Today, Tom Brady is widely considered the greatest quarterback in NFL history. Some even say the greatest athlete in any sport ever. He retired from playing in 2023, and he'll be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2028. But maybe the most fitting part of his story is that the shirtless combine photos. The most embarrassing moment of his career has become something else entirely. A symbol that appearances never tell the whole story. A symbol that the 199th pick can become the greatest player in history, if he has the drive that Tom Brady had. So that's the story of Tom Brady, the skinny kid nobody wanted, until he took everything into his own hands. A story that reminds us that rejection is only a beginning, not an ending. If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe, drop a like, and let us know in the comments which underdog story you want to see next. See you in the next video. Until then, take care.